On behalf of the University of Strathclyde, I'd like to warmly welcome you to the Barony Hall for this congregation for the conferment of degrees. This is a day of celebration for you, our graduates, your families and friends, and the staff of the university. And we extend a particular welcome during our graduation ceremonies to our students who've taken distance learning courses or studied at our overseas hubs. Some of you may be visiting this campus for the very first time, and we're delighted to have you here today. Now, these events are sometimes known as commencement ceremonies, as a signal that they mark a beginning rather than the end, and it's in that spirit that we celebrate graduations at Strathclyde. In a few moments, it will be my privilege to cap each graduand. The capping ceremony has ancient roots as a public rite of passage and a mark of achievement. For each of our graduands, it's a sign they're part of a proud tradition of world-changing scholars at Strathclyde, stretching back to the Scottish Enlightenment. I hope you enjoy the ceremony. I now declare this congregation open and invite Professor Neil Ghani to introduce our alumnus of the year, Dr. Martin Reddy.
My Lord and Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Dr. Martin Reddy. Martin has through his life been an exemplar of the ambition, innovation and people-centredness we value at Strathclyde. After publishing his first computer programme at the age of 16, Martin studied within the Department of Computer Science, where he earned a first-class BSc Honours in 1983. Even then, he was showing remarkable vision and ability. His third-year project was on the still niche subject of chaos theory, where his final year project developed a fully functional 3D spreadsheet, something that's still ahead of his time. Martin sold shareware software for the Commodore Amiga to supplement income through university, including the award-winning text editor EdWord. During his time at Strathclyde, he also developed another side of his character. Martin was awarded a Sporting Blue for martial arts and was 4 times British Taekwondo champion. More of that later. Since leaving Strathclyde, Martin's career has gone stratospheric. Martin was awarded a PhD from the University of Edinburgh in 1997 on applications of models of human visual perception to 3D graphic systems. In particular, he showed how imperceptible detail can be removed from a scene to increase frame rate, a perfect example of innovative scientific ideas providing the platform for economic development. Martin then worked at SRI International for 5 years, working in the Artificial Intelligence Centre on network-based 3D terrain visualization systems. He was director of the Web 3D Consortium for 2 years, where he helped develop the international standards for web-based 3D graphics. For 6 years, between 2002 and 2008, Martin worked at Pixar Animation Studio, leading a team of software engineers making next-generation tools for filmmakers. Martin worked on Academy Award-nominated and winning films, including Finding Nemo, Cars, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, and Wall-E. On behalf of my kids, I'd like to thank you personally, Martin, for enriching their lives. And I think I've seen Finding Nemo over 10 times, for which I'd also like to thank you. In 2009, Martin founded and became CEO of Code Ready, a software consultancy company that provided 3D graphics software development expertise for the entertainment industry and internet applications. Martin then co-founded and became Chief Technology Officer of Pullstring in 2011. At Pullstring, Martin worked on artificial intelligence technology to create engaging and conversational AI experiences and voice apps. He developed technology to enable computer conversation in text, voice, and video. He helped develop the Pullstring Converse web app that lets non-technical users create voice applications for popular devices such as Amazon Echo and Google Home. Martin helped secure $44 million of venture capital funding over 4 rounds and grew the company to a valuation of $160 million. Pullstring partnered with Mattel to produce the first ever AI-powered Barbie doll. Apple bought Pullstring this year, and Martin now works at Apple, leading a team of engineers working on the Siri voice development. Martin has also published over 40 academic papers and issued 9 patents. He has published 2 books, API design for C++ and level of detail for 3D graphics. Martin is also a senior member of the IEEE, the senior professional organization. Throughout his career, Martin has maintained close links with the university. He has been a donor to the Alumni Fund, including the Scholarships Program. He also gave a donation to the new Strathclyde Sport Building in 2018. Martin has attended many university events in California and also in San Francisco. Martin has many other achievements under his belt. I've been told that Mr. Incredible was actually modeled on Martin. Although, on meeting Martin in real life, I'm pleased to find that Martin's chin is not that big. Martin was also a sergeant in the Air Training Corps, where he won the Best Cadet Award. He has a glider pilot award and has pulled 5 Gs in a Hawker Siddeley Hunter RAF jet. He gained a second degree black belt in Taekwondo last year and currently teaches Taekwondo to kids aged 4 to 6 in San Francisco. I think that's the kind of level of class that would suit me just fine. To summarize, throughout his career, Martin has demonstrated exceptional vision, ambition, and innovation, and has always retained close links with Strathclyde. His work through Pixar, Siri, Amazon Echo, etc., has touched nearly all of us and helped change the environment we live in. Martin is a wonderful role model for Strathclyde, and he really is Mr. Incredible. It is with great pleasure, therefore, my Lord and Chancellor, that I ask you to present the Alumnus of the Year Award to Dr. Martin Reddy.
Good hands first. Congratulations. Very, very well done.
My Lord and Chancellor, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honour to be back here in the Barony Hall with you all today. Let me begin by congratulating all of the graduates for making it to today. I am sure it has been a long, hard road, but you made it. This is your day, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm only going to talk about 2 things today. I will try and do it quickly, and while you're all still awake, I'm going to summarize them for you right now. Number 1, don't be afraid of change or failure in your life, because you can build on every experience. Number 2, it's the people around you who will help you succeed in your career. So show empathy for the people you work with. So let's start with the first one. I first came to Strathclyde almost 30 years ago, and the knowledge and skills that I learned here set me up in my career and ultimately got me to where I am today. But that was not my original plan. What I originally wanted to be was a helicopter pilot for the Royal Navy. I even passed the RAF fighter pilot tests at Biggin Hill. But I failed the naval officer interview at HMS Sultan. The interviewing Commodore told me to go off to university, to grow up a little bit, and then come back and try again in a few years. However, when I came to Strathclyde, I found another passion in the form of software engineering. And that path took me all the way from a small fishing town in the north of Scotland to the shores of California. Moving to the US was a big and daunting step, but in hindsight, it was perhaps the best decision I've ever made in my life, because I got to work at amazing places like the AI Center at SRI International, the Software Tools Group at Pixar, and the AI and Machine Learning Group at Apple. I also met my wonderful wife and made lifelong friends. Later in life, my wife and I decided to move to France to join a new startup. 6 months after we moved our entire world there, the company folded and we were left without jobs. But we moved on, and ultimately that experience gave me the confidence to start my own company. The point being, every time that I have made a big change in my life, it has been a good thing. Every time I have failed at something, it has turned into a good thing. I've made new friends, I've learned new things, and I've added to the rich tapestry of my life. So don't be afraid of making big changes or of trying something new. The second and final thing I want to talk about is how to work successfully with others. One big effect that Strathclyde had in my life is in terms of the people I met here and the relationships that I formed. Connections that have turned into lifelong friendships over the many years since graduating. I mention this because where I am today is largely due to the people I've worked with and the strengths of the relationships that I've built. As with any good relationship, this is built on trust and respect. In particular, being a good leader is not about telling people what to do. It's about having the empathy to understand what people want and what they need and to empower them to do the best work of their lives. For many of us, acting like this doesn't come naturally. I can tell you it does not come naturally to me. But how you treat people in situations that don't directly benefit you is what really defines who you are. The last story I'll tell today is about Steve Jobs when he was designing the new headquarters at Pixar. He wanted to have a central atrium with all of the work areas coming off from that central atrium. But he wanted all of the toilets to only be located in that central atrium. The reason being, it forced people to get up from their desks, to go out and meet and interact with people that they didn't sit next to all day long. Steve felt strongly that getting people from all parts of the company to interact and work together, from artists to engineers to managers, was the essential DNA that made Pixar special. So I'm going to leave you today with these two thoughts. Don't be afraid of big changes or the perception of failing, It's all just part of charting your own course through life. But as you chart that course, focus on building strong relationships with the people that you work around, because to truly do great things in this world, you will not do them on your own. You will have to rely on other people. Many of those other people may be sitting next to you right now. Once again, congratulations to you all, and thank you for listening.
My Lord and Chancellor, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for research in the Department of Computer and Information Sciences, Jihad Ahmed Mohammed Al-Ansari. Yazid Ahmed A. Al-Hurayev. Hussein Saad M. Al-Shaharnani. David McMenemy. Yusvita Maud Yusuf. Philip Howard Rogers. Jamie Richard Stevenson. For research in the Strathclyde Institute of Pharmacy and Biomedical Sciences, Suad Ghazi Jafar Al-Kufi. Ahmed Mohammed A. Ashur. William Brownlee. Lauren Evelyn Connor. Gaetan Diaz Mirandela. Rachel Donaghy. Sarah Filgueira Martinez. Amy Josefina Pierrette Maria Franson. Kerry Elizabeth Hargrave. Olga Natalia Wampiesh. Melissa McNaughton. Carlota Mendez Torrecillas. Jean-Baptiste Jeremy Perrier. Ellis Robb. Carla Berlin Rothes Rodriguez. Tagreed Saba Said Said. In Touch Sakpak D. Jarouin. Simon Peter Teague. John Totten. Alice Jane Turner. Vladimir Vysoky. Monica Maria Varseka. Natalie McFadden-Weir. Thedara Wongpin Yochi. Stephanie Yerdelin. For the degree of Master of Philosophy for Research in the Department of Computer and Information Sciences, Diane Cochrane. For the degree of Master of Research in Biomedical Sciences, Adam Kengui. Christopher McCourtney. Jonathan Martin McGann. Emma Mallon. In Pharmacology, Natalie Alexandra Heaney. Douglas Stewart Smith. For the degree of Master of Science in Information and Library Studies, Eric Milligan Milne. In Information Management, Kalamoira Sapalu. In Information Management with Industrial Placement, Eleni Sodzoglu. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Computer Science, Alexander James Bossy. Jordan John Donaghy. Liam Hurston. Connor Graham Nichol. Scott Seenan. Matthew William True. Ksenia Anna Zatvarniska. For the degree of Master of Pharmacy in Pharmacy, Maria Bonthuno. Stephanie Byrne. Rachel Leslie Brown. Josh Ted Farrell. Rebecca Marna Connor Jarrett. Suzanne Isabel Kuiper. Rachel Doi Sum Lee. Olivia Catherine Alexandra Paulin. Yvonne Patricia Phillipson. Louis John Stephen. Shiba Zahir. Shada Ashton. Megan Balhari. Zainab Bashir. Sayera Bati. Rachel Lauren Borthwick. Megan Bradley. Caitlin Brown. Lauren Burns. Rachel Louise Busby. Emma Carmichael. Lei Yi Chan. Paul Michael Connolly. Abby Connor. Daniela Maria Cornachia. Lisa Croft. Ayla Marie Cubitt. Jake Davidson. Katie Davidson. Jack Doherty. Amber Dorrans. Taylor East. Nigel Zilang Fan. Rebecca Gibb. Anissa Halim. Julia Halliday. Amy Halliwell. Cameron Max Hanna. Adam James Harkness. Zainab Hayat. Jacob Nok Yin Ho. Rachel Elizabeth Jane Imlach. Sanaz Kazaminia. Robin Kelly. Leila Khan. Patricia Sylvia Kopetz. Samantha Mirren Kuyawa. Courtney Wyman Lam. Zoe Lam. Sophie Elizabeth Lee. Lu Xiang Li. Darcy Lincoln. Gary Alexander Linus. Lauren Lily MacArthur. Ben McFadden. Michael Bernard McGarry. Niamh Stephanie McGee. Cameron James McIntyre. Catherine McLean. Christy Julia Melvin. Sophia Rashid Mohammed. Lauren Mulligan. Aisha Nazir. Ilyana Krasimirova Nedelcheva. Ivy Laisan Ing. Fatima Nur Zahid. Hannah Julia O'Neill. Niall John Quigg. Greg William Rennie. Carissa Rezai Kodabandalu. Lucy Annabelle Robinson. Katie Maria Scott. Nicola Shearer. Kevin Andrew Stewart. Hiba Tariq Sultan. Neha Tomi. Tran T. Tuzan. Alan David Weir. Aisha Suna Yunus. Alina Zafar. Fatima Aftab. Ibrahim Ahmad. Hasib Tariq Ali. Masood Ali Kel. Stephen Brown. Nishat Ali Fayaz. Brogan Elizabeth Fletcher. James Gilmore. Sasha Louise MacDonald. Annalise McDowell. Lockman Rachel Sum. Hossam Yusuf. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Information Systems, Alexander Scott Loudon. Sasha Jade Stewart. In Computer Science, Ivan Emilov Bardarov. Stephen Barry. QNY Chen. Adele Claire Crawford. Luca Demelis. Sami Fata. James Robert Galloway. Alistair Gillies. Lauren Higgins. Ben Hubbard. Jamie Edward Hutchison. Lyubomir Emilov Ivanov. Damyan Dravkov Kalev. Mark Kerr. Martin Abasha Coley. Johan Traian Luca. Jack Craig McLaughlin. Gordon Ian Mason. Petr Rumenov Pilev. Sarah Reid. Elliot Michael Rourke. Ryan Stuart Shillington. Dimitar Todorov. Plamena Yordanova. Adam Thomas Bunton. Jed Burrows. Joanna Devine. Sandeep Singh Desi. Nathan John Elliott. Gregory John Kerr. Dejan Komitov. Alana McCready. Andrew McInnes Marshall. Scott Perry. Amy Richardson. Kavinder Singh. Kelly Eve Taylor. Bettina Todorova. Diana Petrova Urumcheva. Sarah Wilson. Mark Alexander Baxter. Cameron Bell. Liam Joyce. Graham Kerr. Jamie Scott Miller. Hoi Yi. Nicola Andreu. Sutse Lai Wan. In software engineering, Mauro DiNardo. Ryan Findlay. Darren Lowe. Meghetto Francesco. Ryan Radcliffe. Sandeep Saini. Ben Fenton.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, but most of all, our graduates, as we can now call you, it's a real pleasure to welcome you here to the Barony Hall, one of the jewels in Strathclyde's crown. Now, I'd like to begin my address today by congratulating you, our graduates, on your academic achievements. Your hard work has paid off, and it's been recognised in front of your families, friends, and indeed the staff who taught and supported you here during your time. We know just how much work you have had to put in to be here today, and you can all feel justifiably proud. All of you have displayed determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. All of you have taken a huge step toward realising your dreams, and today, in these magnificent surroundings, we celebrate your achievements. Well done. In just a few minutes, you will be asked to join the academic procession as it makes its way down the aisle. This invitation symbolises the fact you're no longer students, but full members of the academic community of Strathclyde. It's an important moment for you all. The class of 2019 is graduating at a time of considerable global change in Scotland, in the UK, and internationally. There's no question that challenges lie ahead for all of us. But as a member of the Strathclyde family, you belong to a large and ever-growing worldwide community which has shared an ethos of tolerance and understanding and a desire to make a positive difference. So whatever dreams you're pursuing in life, remember you possess the most valuable assets anyone can have in today's world: knowledge, the ability to innovate, and the capacity to use your talents for the good of society. As graduates of a socially progressive university, you have a competitive advantage, having been equipped with the skills, the know-how, and life experience to positively influence and shape the world around you. In Scotland, we are fortunate in having a higher education system that's the envy of the world, and our country rightly invests in education for all. Education broadens the mind. It creates opportunities for individuals and for societies. And as Strathclyders, we carry a sense of duty to use what we've learned wisely and for the good of others. The desire to make a positive impact in the world comes naturally to graduates of this university. We only have to look at the achievements of those who've gone before for inspiration. To John Anderson, our founder, who established this university for the good of mankind. To the missionary and explorer, David Livingstone. To John Logie Baird and Lord Reith, whose work in television brought us visual marvels that they could hardly have dreamed of. And in the present day, we look to Dame Eilish Angiolini, a pioneer in Scottish justice as the country's first female Solicitor General and later its first female Lord Advocate. To Baroness Helen Little, former Secretary of State for Scotland and UK High Commissioner to Australia. To Baroness Annabel Goldie, former MSP and leader of the Scottish Conservatives. And to Sir Tom Hunter, philanthropist and one of the most successful entrepreneurs ever in Scottish history. Now, I'm sure you will receive lots of advice on how to make the best of your lives. Some you will rightly ignore. Some will stick with you, but you know, most of it you're going to have to learn for yourself. To reach this point in your lives today, each of you will have travelled a different journey. For some, the path will have been relatively easy, for some, much more difficult. But I'm certain of one thing: none of you would be here without the active support of your family, supporters, and friends. They've picked you up when you've been down, they've encouraged you when you needed it, and they're here to support you once again today, proudly watching as you cross the stage with broad smiles, and I notice the odd tear in an eye here and there. They're celebrating today with pride because you carry with you their hopes and dreams, their confidence that you can make this a better world. For the past half hour or so, their applause has rung in your ears. I'd now like to invite our graduates to show the appreciation for the support of their family, supporters and friends. Now, we will actively keep in touch with you through our alumni and communication teams, but I would ask you to please keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear about your achievements as you progress through your lives and careers, and we look forward to hearing from you again. The advice and guidance given by our alumni help to provide the first-class education and student experience that you had at Strathclyde. I now ask you to think of those who follow in your footsteps. I touched earlier on some of the key figures who have helped to create the University of Strathclyde. You know, you can tell a lot about the values of an organisation by looking at its roots. And Strathclyde traces its lineage back to 1796, when Anderson brought it into being. It was the only Scottish university founded in the Enlightenment and embodying Enlightenment principles of reason, tolerance, and equality. Anderson believed in useful learning, and his commitment to taking knowledge and using it for the greater good is the motivating force which gives Strathclyde its momentum today. In many ways, he was ahead of his time, as he advocated back in the 18th century the education of both men and women of all classes. Today, this vision is as important as ever, As a socially progressive university, we want our students' talent to be developed to the highest level and the talent pool to be as wide as it can be. We now have targets for recruiting students from disadvantaged areas where historically very few people have stayed in education after leaving school. We have met and indeed exceeded these targets, enhancing our diverse and vibrant student community, and we have many initiatives aimed at ensuring that ability and willingness to learn and not personal circumstances will determine access to university. We are, and we always will be, an international university. Our staff and student community is drawn from more than 100 nations, and we have alumni partners on every continent. This ensures our outlook, knowledge and experience are broad, and it's exactly the shape a successful university ought to be. We're a place of innovation, seeking breakthroughs which will address the most urgent challenges facing the world today: new and effective medicines, purposeful approaches to tackling climate change, new technologies to meet the imperatives of a rapidly changing world, manufacturing techniques for in-demand products, informing policy that addresses public needs and makes for thriving, just societies, and offering much-needed insight into complex political, economic and social issues. All of this, our groundbreaking research, our first-class teaching, our productive relationships with external partners, goes into the experience we offer our students. And as a result, we've produced over the years many highly qualified, high-caliber graduates. Many more are joining them here today, and some have already taken their places in their chosen professions. And we continue to strive to enhance the student experience by investing in our campus, creating facilities like the recently opened Strathclyde Sport Building to support the fitness, health and well-being of our staff, students and wider community. And of course, we had the great pleasure of welcoming another inspirational figure, Olympic rowing gold medalist Dame Catherine Granger, to carry out the official opening. Many of you will also have helped to shape the plans for our under construction learning and teaching hub at the very heart of our campus through your feedback and ideas. This building will be the new base for our Students' Association, and it will have all the facilities our student needs to get the very best from time at Strathclyde. Thank you for helping create this important legacy. And so too has it been a year to celebrate for the faculty. Meantime, Dr. Christine DeFaze of the Strathclyde Institute of Pharmacy and Biomedical Sciences has found a new seek and destroy gene therapeutic system that could have the potential to treat prostate cancer in the future. In laboratory models at Strathclyde and Beatson Institute, the system was used against 2 types of prostate tumour, causing 70% of one type and 50% of the other to vanish over a period of 1 month. That gives a promising start for a system to help tackle what is the 4th most widespread cancer in the world. Our students have continued to fly the flag for Strathclyde. Among the many success stories, computing and information science students Fraser Graham and Gary Ray developed an app and a project with the Prince and Princess of Wales Hospice to give Duchenne muscular dystrophy patients experience of a virtual outdoor environment. And the CHIP AI project, an international project aimed at increasing the efficiency and portability of artificial intelligence technology, has been launched with Strathclyde as a partner. Student pharmacists, including students at Strathclyde, are to benefit from the Scottish Government's investment of $2.85 million. The funding will support the current experiential learning that student pharmacists undertake in community pharmacies and hospitals, and expand this into primary care and other venues. A walking app designed to assess and support physical activity in medical patients in a simpler and more accessible way than many current methods is also being developed at Strathclyde. It will enable patients to assess their own fitness by measuring the distance they can walk in 6 minutes, and is based on a validated fitness test which is used to measure the effects of exercise interventions in medical patients. And that study is being led by Dr. Leanne Lewis in CIS. That's why our graduates are so highly prized by employers looking to recruit the best talent to drive their organisations forward. That's why world-class companies are investing in Strathclyde. That is why we are leading research in energy, health, manufacturing technology, business and policy, and are providing new recruits to many professions, including healthcare, engineering, business, teaching and law. And our success is in no small part due to the collective talent, effort and commitment of our staff, the 3,900 colleagues who are pulling together to deliver one vision, a leading international technological university. Like me, they are very proud of your achievements, and I know that the class of 2019 will demonstrate the power of useful learning. I know you will make your dreams a reality, and I know you will make a difference to the world in which we all live. Thank you. I now declare closed this congregation for the conferment of degrees. I would like to invite our graduates to join the academic procession. Would family and friends please stay behind until the procession has left the building and then join us in the Lord Todd building for refreshments. Would you please all stand? Thank you.